Hey guys, how's it going? It is such a beautiful day here on the property. It's gonna be 70 degrees. I'm out pretty early, so it's still kind of cold. So I've got a light jacket on and shorts, of course. But I wanted to walk you guys through today my espalier that we have. We have espalier on the fence right here. It goes to right there and it goes all the way down the fence line. And I wanted to kind of walk you guys through the pros, the cons, and my thoughts of having it now that we've had the espalier for almost a year. So I just thought that I would give you guys my opinion on how it's worked for us and just kind of like the maintenance that it takes, because there's a lot that goes into it and I want people to be able to make a correct, informed decision on whether this is proper for them or not. I also need to come in and trim this shrub up that's right here. I had to move sides because the sun was glaring through, but I'm gonna trim this shrub up right here because it comes over the fence quite a bit and some of these are hanging down super low and I kind of hit my head on them. And then we'll come in and we will clean up all of these and do some more winding on this to try to get it, to fit properly. Come in and nip some of these off or wind them. And so it's kind of a lot of work. So I want to go over that. So let's go over my pros and my cons really quickly about having this espalier. The pros, it is stunning. It is so beautiful. I love the way that it looks. I haven't gotten blooms on it yet. There's a mosquito. I haven't gotten any blooms on this yet. Now Brent's mowing the lawn. Anyways, so the maintenance on this is that you either have to wind in every single one of these tendrils or you have to cut them off. And I do this pretty often. I have to do this usually once a week during the growing season. And then this has been all of winter. I think I've done it maybe 2 or 3 times. So there hasn't been too much growth. We are growing honeysuckle on ours and it took off super fast, filled all the way to the very top in less than a year. And now it is very full at the top. And there are some areas like this that are very thin. So it's a lot of training and getting things to grow correctly. And it's a lot of having patience. I know that by this year, it'll totally be filled in. And then it's going to be a ton of pruning on this. So there's a lot that goes into this. And if you're not somebody who wants something that is high maintenance, I really don't recommend this because this is kind of high maintenance. It's better than growing ivy. If I was to grow ivy, it would start like suckering through the fence, which I mean, it's a fence, so it's not that big of a problem. But the honeysuckle is easier because I can just come in and cut things off and I don't have to worry about it attaching itself to the fence or anything like that. But it is maintenance. It's a lot of maintenance. I come in and I clean it up. Brent comes in and cleans it up. We've just gone a couple months now just so we can, we just kind of stopped taking care of it for a little bit. And now we have totally let it go. You can see, there are crazy pieces that have really grown. So I gotta come in and cut those off. It's really easy. This will probably take me 20 minutes to get the entire thing done. And then probably another 5-10 minutes to get this shrub all cleaned up. So it's not like a whole lot of maintenance, but it is maintenance. My next door neighbor, she has just installed just the wire and she's not growing anything up the wire. I think she just kind of likes the look of the wire, but she wants to possibly grow something up it. I think it just depends on how much maintenance she wants. And then I also don't know if she's gonna grow it like this, where she trains it. I think she's just gonna kind of let it grow and do its own thing, which is totally fine. It's a super natural look. You can definitely do that. If I wanted to, eventually this could just be an entire wall and I could just get a year or 2 of having the espalier look the way that it looks and then have it just be a green wall if you want to go that route too. Would I go the route of making the diamonds if I was going to go the route of wanting it just to be a green wall? No, absolutely not, because getting the diamonds squared and everything is a tremendous amount of work. Let's go ahead and just kind of clean this up some because it needs a lot of work. So with the espalier, we've got ones that are coming out super crazy long, and so I have to decide if I need to cut them or if I want to wind them in. For ones like this, where this row right here is super thin, and for areas like this that are thin, and just any of these super thin areas, especially this area that really needs to fill in, I want to come in and I want to weave anything that I can so it gets nice and thick. You can see this area and this area, all of these areas are super thick. They've got a lot of growth on them. All the rest of this is pretty thin, so I need to come in and wind those, but anything from about here up, I'm going to end up cutting off because I don't need it to get thicker. So we're just going to come in, prune all of these off, just like that. And then these ones like this, we're going to come in and we're going to wind them. Had I came out here a while ago and wound them, it would actually be a lot better. The maintenance on these is, it's really easy if you stay on top of it, but once you start letting them go, these stems start to harden a little bit. They start to get a little more woody, and it makes it really hard to wind them into the espalier without breaking them. I've broken tons of them, especially ones that I want to end up keeping. I end up breaking them if they get too hard. And so I try to come out here while everything is very fresh and stay on top of the maintenance that way. Things like this right here, you gotta go. And we'll just come in and cut that real easy. I've got some that are lower, that are very thick, and this one is probably gonna end up snapping on me. But I do wanna wind this to grow this way. The problem is when they get long like this, they just snap on you so easy. So you have to be extremely careful. Once we get to a top area like this, I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna cut all of these shoots off. I'm not trying to make this any fuller than it already is. This is what I want each of these squares to end up looking like. So let's keep moving down the line and get the rest of these done. This one right here, how it's just starting out, I am gonna take this vine right here and I'm gonna wrap it around and let it continue to grow, because this one's not very thick up top and I want it to fill out and be nice and thick. So it still needs to thicken up a little bit. So it needs some help. And we're gonna wind this. So these are ones that we're not gonna cut when it's just starting out. Those will be my main leaders across it. Okay, so we've got from about here over to about there done, and I still have to do this lower section. That didn't take me too long at all. I do want to address though, I am 2 plants shy, and I don't think I'm going to end up picking up 2 more plants. These ones I am training, so this one plant right here goes up and it now comes over, and I'm going to just train it back down, and then I'll train it to come over. So it's going to make kind of a rectangle, and then it'll come back over. So this one plant will fill out the entire thing. And then same thing. So this plant that's right here goes up like this, and then it's going to come down, and I'm going to train it down. And then the plant that's there is coming up, and it's already coming down. So that's what I'm kind of doing, is I'm training these plants to go, I'm training to grow down, which is not how they want to grow. So what's happening is they start coming out, and you can see right here, this one, it comes down, and you can see like it's got this curve. This one wants to grow up, but I'm having to come in and I'm having to retrain them to go down, which is not the way that these plants want to naturally grow. So this will come down and it'll go back around like this. And for those of you that didn't see the install on this, that video will be linked in the description down below under Espalier Install. It does take a little bit of math, and it takes a little bit of time. And then I'm coming in and I'm pruning this very hard right now, because I know that we're about to have some warm days. I mean, today is 70 degrees alone. And so this is gonna be putting on a ton of growth here very, very soon. And so I want to prune it back hard. I mean, you guys, I took everything off that I could up at the top. So that way, as it grows, it doesn't just get too wild and too bushy and too crazy. It'll stay in check. I still have to come in and do from about here down, and then the rest of it down that way. Okay, this fence alone took me about an hour to get done, but all the squares, all the diamonds look so much better now. It is all cleaned up, so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of maintenance, it takes a lot of time, and that's just one day of maintenance. And it was woolly, but it wasn't as crazy woolly as it could have been. So that is something that I want people to like be prepared for. This is not like a low maintenance thing. Anything espalier is not low maintenance. I'm not just letting things grow. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes a lot of effort and thought in between, you know, do I cut this branch? Do I not cut that branch? Do I wind this branch? This branch isn't attached to the wire. How do I weave something to make it so it gets a little tighter? It's a slow process, it's a lot of work. But when you get it all done, look how good that looks. It looks so nice, it's so amazing. I'm gonna do this in the driveway. I want to continue on with this. I want to have more of this around the property. I just think it's so magical and so classy that I think it's going to be worth it. I'm going to do it on our driveway fence, which is a white fence, and this is obviously a black fence, so I'll have both views of it. I'll have it on a really nice clean white fence, and then this black fence really just makes things like stand out. I think it's worth it if you know what you're getting into when you jump into it, that this is not just a low maintenance, let it go, do whatever it wants. And I think personally, the bigger the squares like this is, the better it is. I think if you start doing smaller squares, which I almost went smaller, I was going to do it so it was going to be 3 high where it's only 2 high. I was going to go 3, and these would have been so much tighter. I think it would have been a lot more work because I would have had to wind them tighter, and anytime that even like if one of those started hanging out, it would have looked really woolly and really scraggly. So I just want people to be prepared that this is not a low maintenance thing, but I think it is so worth it. You know, you can do this on a house, you can do this on a fence, you can do this on a trellis, whatever it may be. I just need people to be prepared because it's worth it. It's so worth it if you have the time and energy to put into it. So now that that's all done, let's clean up the shrub that's right there. Okay, look at that. I feel like I can breathe again. It looks so good. It is all cleaned up all the way to the very edge right there. We got the top cleaned up, which is going to allow a little bit more light down here. This area is pretty much in dappled light all day long, and then this area right here is in full sun, usually once we hit about noon. So we're almost there, so you can see it's starting to get into a little bit of sun, but it just looks so much better once it's all cleaned up. And once we have, you guys see that shrub right there cleaned up. We love the neighbor's shrub because this is our living room right here, and then our dining room and their front door and their living room is right on the other side. So this gives both of us some privacy. This thing just grows extremely fast. So I usually end up trimming that shrub about twice a year. And I just cut it right back to the fence line like that, and it just keeps it nice and clean looking. Let me go to the other side, and then this is it from the other side. So it just looks really nice and inviting when you come down here. It feels very open. I mean, some of those pieces were hanging down to like right here. So, I mean, I was walking by and I was getting hit in the face by them. So it's nice that it's all cleaned up and we can walk through here again. I just gotta refresh the gravel, and the espalier is starting to look really, really amazing. I can't wait to see what it does this year now. In conclusion, should you be growing this? Yes, if you have the time and if you have the patience for it, and if you're up to the maintenance that this requires, definitely grow it. I think it is so worth it. It's so beautiful. People comment on it every time that they see it. And I would definitely go using honeysuckle. This is what we're using, is honeysuckle. It's amazing. Honeysuckle comes in a couple different colors. I would also look into maybe growing it in jasmine. I would like to find, there's a variety of jasmine. It stays a little bit shorter, but I would like to find it because it's like a double flower and it's really pretty. But I would say honeysuckle or jasmine, great growing, super fast growing, and this is 1 year's growth. So I would say it's worth it. get out there, try it. It's super easy, and I'm gonna link the video for how to install the Espalier in the description down below. So thank you guys for coming along with me today. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.